If you want an audience of 10,000 buyers, it is actually easier to build an audience of 100,000 people, of which only 10% are buyers, than it is to build a niche audience of 10,000 people, of which 100% are buyers. That is why nowadays, advice like niching down is terrible advice. My name is Tolunai. 2 years ago, I uploaded my first video on Instagram, and today, right now, I'm going to show you the framework that I use to scale to more than 500,000 followers on Instagram in total, and scale the world's highest grossing health community on Skool to more than $77,000 in monthly profit. That system that I'm talking about is called ACID. Attract, sell, indoctrinate, and dominate. And it is aimed at making buyers rally up behind online personalities like Aman Ghazi, Daniel Dalen, or the Tate brothers. Business is war, and if you're not claiming the market share as fast as Julius Caesar claimed territory, then today's online warlords will build monopolies bigger than you could imagine, earning themselves richer whilst you keep cold calling your local construction companies. If you knew what was going on behind the scenes, you would know that social media's first $1 billion monopoly is right in front of you. Just wait for another 2 years. Step 1 is to attract. I promise I won't tell you to niche down, post consistently, or be authentic, bro. Attracting an audience on social media has nothing to do with hooks, hashtags, or hacks. The key to attracting an audience of buyers is to become attractive to buyers. If you want to attract people with your lifestyle, you need an attractive lifestyle. If you want to attract people with your wisdom, you need attractive wisdom. If you want to attract people with your personality, you need an attractive personality. Charlie Morgan has mastered wisdom, Aman has mastered lifestyle and personality, and the Tate brothers have mastered all three. Here's how to master it yourself. Pick one of these two, education or lifestyle. You will have different priorities in life, whilst Charlie Morgan simplifies his life as much as possible to focus on acquiring wisdom. Aman makes it as complex as possible to maximize his lifestyle and personality. There is no right or wrong, both approaches work. This is simply up to what life you would like. If you look at Aman, for example, he probably maxed out all the parts of career, learning, strength, spirituality, nutrition, and relationships, and that's what makes him so irreplaceable on social media. Is like, this guy lives life and he wins in every aspect, whilst Charlie Morgan, for example, only wins in the career and learning aspect, but that's because he chose to. He is eliminating all complexity in his life to be the best at this one thing, which is wisdom in business. Aman, on the other hand, doesn't do that. If your vlog is boring, it's because your life is boring. If your educational videos are boring, it's because you lack wisdom. What educational videos perform incredibly well? What vlogs, what reels, what shorts, and TikToks? If you look at view stats, what you can do is literally just look at other creators who you look up to and look at what videos perform incredibly well. If we zoom in, we see that, for example, there's this video that's called The Laziest Way to Make Money in 2025, and it says 7.4x because the average of James Smith's views on every single video is 9k, but this one has 70k views, which means it's 7.5x his average of viewership. And the same is with Aman. Laziest Way to Make Money Online, same title, somebody stole from somebody. Both guys are having a 5 to 7x on their average viewership, which means this idea is proven to work. So you use that idea and you give them your own advice so you don't copy people. The same you do for vlogs, and that's how you use view sets, for example. Step 2 is to sell. You can sell anything to any audience if you position it right, and I mean anything. Broad audiences are way more valuable than niche audiences, and people have just forgotten how to market to people, so they end up with a bloated, ugly sales team of 20 sales reps with 20% closing rates. That's incredibly bad. And there's so many people who suffer under that, but it's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, and everybody's gonna hate me for this one. Broad audiences outperform niche audiences every single time. No matter who I work with, whether it's niche or broad audiences are quicker, faster, more profitable. They grow to more amount of money, and they have more possibilities than niche audiences. And they also have higher profit margins, and they also have smaller teams and therefore also less headache. It's just easier to lead. These people usually have way more time of a day and just spend like four hours a day working, while there's niche audiences, like, I'm not going to name any names. But only works in direct response marketing. Social media algorithms are built to show your video to as many people as possible for as long as possible. Do not play a game against its rules. Try to be as broad as possible within your niche. I really mean that, right? That's why I'm saying build an audience of 100,000 people, of which 10% are buyers. There's so many people who say, oh, you must build a niche audiences and all of that. Social media isn't built for your niche audience. It's not built for that. Social media thinks, how can I keep as many people as possible for as long as possible on the platform? So will it show your video that is niche to an audience, or will it show the broad video to the audience? Of course, it's going to show the broad video because it knows that the chances of somebody liking that video are just higher because it is applicable to a wider audience. That's how the algorithm works. If you launch your niche content, it's not going to perform. And that is it. That's why people need to stuff their money into ads. You can use ads, but you don't need to. And you want to be profitable, don't you? So if you want to have 95% profit margins like my clients do, then go broad. And pick the 10% that are actual buyers. But we'll come to that in just a moment. Try to be as broad as possible within your niche. Charlie Morgan makes broad videos. See a video that says 2 years in Dubai, brutally honest review that has 1 million views, and another one with 500,000 views that says you'll never watch short form again after watching this. Yet he sells a $9,600 course on client acquisition and a $50,000 mastermind offer. How does this work? Well, because he positions his course as a course to make client acquisition easy and then upsell them to a $50,000 offer. Almost anybody who starts in business will profit out of watching his videos on YouTube. But almost everybody who starts in business has a service-based business and has a problem with client acquisition, which means this is very applicable to a wide audience, and he makes a lot of money with this offer. Iman Gadzhi makes broad videos as well. Iman has a $37 community, a $97 a month software, a $1,400 mid-ticket, a $10,000 high ticket, an $18,000 B2B licensing program, and $150 glasses. Which means he has broad product and he has niche products, and he's profiting with all of them. A lot, actually. Again, you can sell anything to any audience because, again, Iman is just basically just taking the millions of subscribers that he has on YouTube and he's saying, okay, well, 10% of these people might probably be B2B and buy my licensing program. Well, I'm going to sell that to them, and then I'll sell the glasses to 50% of people, the mid-ticket to 30% of people, and the $37 a month community to 70% of people. All of these principles work. All of them work. Because by choosing broad, you're not neglecting niche audiences. You're just taking the niche audience and you're adding other layers of other audiences on top, which means instead of building a niche audience, you can have a niche audience and more. But we're going to come to that later on when it comes to talent acquisition, actually, when you want to dominate the space, because then it's going to be quite important. Charlie Morgan here again strives for simplicity, Iman for complexity. Iman will maximize for profit per customer by having different offers, and Charlie Morgan will maximize the number of customers by optimizing this one offer. The number one mistake I see entrepreneurs make is that they market the wrong solution to their audience. That's why whenever I scale an info or service-based business, I ask our clients' audiences 17 questions and give them a free product in return. That way, we determine what they want, need, why they can't get it, what they tried already, and what product they would wish from you. Then build a product that helps them get what they want and market it as a new opportunity that solves all hurdles hindering them from getting it, which is different from what they tried already. I actually created a template that contains all 17 questions and how to use them to build an optimal marketing campaign. I always give it to my clients. Some of those clients I do it for them, and others just want to do it themselves, so I just send them the questions and they do it. That template is actually in the description. You can just click on it and you can just download it. It looks like this, and you'll get all 17 questions that you need to market to your audience by yourself. Don't treat every viewer the same, because people hate being sold to, but they love to go shopping. This is very important, and people forget this, and that's why most audiences just die after like 3 years. Find the people who trust you already and the ones who don't yet. Differentiate these and sell to the ones who trust you. If you sell to those who aren't ready yet, you will burn through your audience and repel it, because they will feel like they're being sold to and they don't enjoy your content anymore. There are different kinds of CTAs, video titles, hooks, pitches, and which will cause intrigue within buyers and be ignored by non-buyers. That is called seamless marketing. There are dozens of systems to sell to buyers without repelling non-buyers. I'm going to break that down soon though. If that's not of any interest to you, just subscribe to the channel, you'll see it on your feed. Non-buyers break their current beliefs that hold them back and indoctrinate them with new beliefs that benefit them. So again, right, there are systems that are seamless marketing that people who don't want to buy from you just won't care about, and the ones who do want to buy from you will react to that CTA. Step 3 is to indoctrinate these people to turn non-buyers into buyers. And while accepting, and this is a quote, and while accepting responsibility is essential to gaining control of one's own life, assuring others they are not responsible is essential to gaining influence over theirs. One need look no further than politics to see this powerful game played at its best. Sounds like a quote from an evil dictator who controlled an entire country. Is actually a quote by Russell Brunson, who's the owner of ClickFunnels. And he describes how the most powerful presidents, chancellors, and politicians have turned a couple of followers into raving fans who would happily go to war for them. It sounds insane, but it is today it is being used by big corporate multi-billion-dollar companies to make them subscribe to their ideas. Not because they mean to harm people like dictators did in World War I and World War II, but simply because it is powerful. It works. It influences people. The thing that makes it bad is to use the influence for bad purposes like war. But if you want to help them, go ahead. Once you sell to people, you will experience their most common reasons why they do not decide to buy from you. Some won't trust your solution because they don't trust themselves, thinking, I am different, this will not work for me because of the objection. Find those reasons in the comments, your DMs, your sales calls, your Instagram Q&As, and pre-handle them in your YouTube videos and Instagram stories. Let's say that somebody is going to watch my videos and I'm going to help this person acquire clients. I'm going to make videos about client acquisition. And this guy is going to think, well, your solution is great, but I'm actually a health coach who's helping high-level entrepreneurs focus more into business. It won't work on me because I am different. The people who you worked with were entrepreneurs in B2B and business who were trying to coach other entrepreneurs and business purposes, and mine is the health niche, and it's something completely different. If I now post results on my Instagram story of somebody being in health, helping entrepreneurs increase their focus, who got incredible results with our solution, with our product, then that person who first doubted my solution because he thought he was different will realize, oh damn, this person is not different to me, but they got the same results that I actually want. This might be applicable to me. That is how you handle objections in your videos and Instagram stories before people even get on a call or a landing page of yours. You can build trust with people to up to 90%. And you can either do that with a sales call, or you can do that with marketing, or you can do that with both. If you manage to do that with marketing, you manage to build maybe 60 to 70% with somebody before they even get on a sales call. So the sales call is going to be like 20 to 30 minutes. Some people already buy at like 70% trusting somebody, which is why there's coaches who sell in the DMs. That is when their marketing is so good that they literally just need to send them the pay in full link and it works. But the most common reason why they won't buy from you though is that they do not trust you enough. But one of the greatest marketers of the world, Blair Warren, said people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, diminish their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. If you tick all these 5 boxes, you will make sales. Encouraging their dreams might be to tell them why it is so easy to achieve their goal, and tell them there's a new opportunity that is easier than whatever you tried before that can get you to your dreams. You encourage their dreams. You justify their failures by saying that their old opportunity was bad and the vehicle from before was supposed to fail, and saying it's not your fault, it's the vehicle's fault. You diminish their fears by showing results. You confirm their suspicions by proving to them that whatever they tried before was horrible and it wasn't supposed to work. And you help them throw rocks at their enemies by literally just shitting on whatever they tried before, whether it's people, whether it's a method, whether it's a framework, whatever it may be. Again, while accepting responsibility is essential to gaining control over one's own life, assuring others they are not responsible is essential to gaining influence over theirs. Once you check those boxes, you find a solution that solves most reasons of why your market can't get to their desired outcome, and you include it in your product. Then you dominate with the market with that solution. Step 4 is to dominate. To dominate sounds extreme, but it's exactly what you need to do. You can only be loved if you are willing to be hated, and if you have come to this point, you will be loved and hated. Let me quote you something. What do billionaires and warlords dominating markets and territory have in common? They possess absolute, omniscient awareness over their expenses, business, competition, and market at all times. They don't solve problems, they spot risks and eliminate them before opposing any threat to them. They have speed. With Blitzkrieg, the Nazis took down Poland in weeks. France, a country that prepared for war for 20 consecutive years, has fallen within 6 weeks. They have counsel. No titan has the lone wolf mentality. They get directed by people who see ahead of them at all times. They have awareness of the illusion of safety. You are never safe. Somebody will always try to take all that you have. The question is not if, but when somebody will try to take it all from you. That is a quote by Paul Daly. I paraphrased it, so it's not exactly what he said, but it's what I got out of 40 minutes of content of him. He was the former CEO of Educate, and he's really good at what he does. There are no exceptions to this rule. Most creative businesses that gained more than 10,000 buyers get torn apart within 2 to 3 years. Many aren't prepared. They are caught in their old limiting beliefs, not realizing that the only way to win this game is to build a loyal team so strong but you have omniscient awareness, speed, counsel, awareness of the illusion of safety. And that is actually where the broad personal brand comes more into play. Dominance is not built through hiring an army of mercenaries, but through building a loyal team of A players. Here we go back to step 1, attract. If you want to attract a team of A players, you need to be an attractive A player leader. Learn all the values of leadership to provide them with the 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Only when your business gives them 10% of all 5 levels will they be able to invest 100% of their life into it. If your team isn't invested, it is your fault. Here we have Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have the physiological needs and the safety and security. Physiological is money, breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep, everything that you can buy with money. Then we have safety and security, health, employment, property, family, and social ability, which basically means the security that they won't get fired in a month because the business is not gonna be existent in 2 months. So the foundation is literally pay them and have a business that is actually safe and that is going to run for another few years, and they can actually trust you that the business is going to run. Then we come to the parts above the foundation, the parts that most people actually never consider. Love and belonging, friendship, family, intimacy, a sense of connection. This is where most people fail. They're not able to build a sense of connection to their team, which is why they have an army of mercenaries, people who stay because of money, but not out of belonging. Belonging is created through having a sense of team, a sense of a team and having values. Somebody who does that very well is Iman Gadzhi. If you look at behind the scenes, this guy has a huge team of more than 100 employees, I believe, at Educate. And the way that they stay together is, for example, that every year they have one big challenge, which is a fitness challenge, like, for example, running a marathon or doing a high rocks all together. And by doing that, they actually have a lot of success in building belonging, because all these people together suffer inside these challenges and overcome these challenges together. Self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and the need to be a unique individual. The way you build that is actually through letting somebody autonomously master their craft. What this means is taking somebody who has talent, stepping out of their way, and letting them work autonomously until they master what they did. If I'm gonna have an editor, and I'm gonna tell that editor every single time what to do and what not to do 100% of the time, and he will never have room to improve and actually learn video editing himself. He will never master his craft, and he will always be worse than I am, because he doesn't have the room to grow past my knowledge of video editing and storytelling. Self-actualization, morality and purpose, and the meaning and inner potential. What this is basically just, do you actually see purpose in what you do? That is actually determined by your business, by the outcome that you get to your clients. Let's say that I have a $9,000 coaching offer, and everybody on the team knows that my clients don't actually get results, then they will not feel morality. They will also not feel any purpose but money, because they'll realize that, hey, the only reason why we're doing this is money, and we're actually not helping people. So you need values. You need to provide your clients results. If you don't have a good product or you don't have a good offer, then you will never reach level 5, and you will never reach 100% loyalty by your team. Only when your business gives them 100% of all 5 levels will they be able to invest 100% of their life into it. If your team isn't invested, it is your fault. This is why it is better to build an audience of 100,000 people, of which 10% are buyers, than 10,000 of which 100% are buyers. You now have 90,000 people who rally up behind your purpose on level 5 and feel a sense of connection towards you on level 3, because they feel a sense of connection because they've watched so much content, and they feel a sense of purpose because otherwise they wouldn't be interested in your content in the first place. Talent acquisition is the silent #1 priority that leads to dominance, more important than client acquisition itself. I remember it clear as day when one of my creators I personally worked with was attacked by his entire niche. I was working out at the gym that day when I checked my phone for 11 missed calls. I was drained because I had spent the last 12 hours locked in at my desk, checking off to-dos after to-dos. My hands were sweaty, my shoulders were sore, and the music at the gym was incredibly loud. So I texted him, "Gonna call you back at the gym right now." He replied, "I need you right now, please." When I picked up the call, I felt a shooting pain in my stomach. It felt like a heart attack, but it was in my lower gut. Overnight, the entire internet got overrun with exposing videos filled with lies and stories made up for the sake of tearing down the brand. When we received screenshots of WhatsApp chats and bank wires, we understood that our biggest competitor had paid the majority of creators in the niche to spread false notions about us and tear down the business we had built. At this point, our competitor's video had reached more than 1.5 million views. Our DMs were flooded with hate messages, and our email inbox was full of refund requests. It was omniscient awareness that led us to the screenshots, and it was my counsel and his speed and our team's sense of belonging and purpose that led to us striking back within 24 hours, saving the brand until today. That is how you dominate. Would we have had awareness of the illusion of safety? We could have prevented it before it happened. This is what I meant when I said business is war. Audiencia is opening up 7 spots. ACID is the sole framework that every successful infopreneur, coach, consultant, or service provider goes through, and most brands get stuck at level 2. That's why most of your favorite creators from 2 to 3 years ago just don't exist anymore. You don't see them anymore. They lost their hype. The ones who master stage 3, indoctrination, get to 7 figures a year, sometimes even 8. And the ones that get to stage 4, domination, like the Tate brothers, the Belmar brothers, Iman Gadzhi, gets in 9 figures and soon 10 figures, meaning $1 billion. If you're looking for a unique mechanism that will get you to 7 figures a year in a few weeks, this ain't it. But we certainly have done that in a few months. If you're an infopreneur, a coach, consultant, service provider, or simply an established entrepreneur who's an expert at what they do, I would love to have you inside Audientia. I personally work with all of my clients to scale their businesses to 6 to 7 figures a year through counsel and access to my team of success-addicted A players, which help me get multiple businesses to stage 3. So again, if you're looking for anything that's going to get you a load of clients in a few weeks, I can't promise you that. I'm not going to promise you that, and I'm not going to give you 100% money back guarantee if you don't get 50 qualified appointments in the next month or so. That's not going to happen, because I'm willing to find people, genuine experts, who want to build a long-term ecosystem that is literally going to get them clients forever, and that will allow them to influence people as huge as Iman did to my generation. For example, I was influenced by Iman Gadzhi. I grew up with his videos. And that was only possible because he built that brand over the last 8 years. So Asset was only one out of 20 plus framework we use at Audientia to scale businesses through an online presence. If you would like to have all of them, apply for a spot. Again, I cannot promise you that you're going to get to 7 figures a year in a few weeks, but we did do that in a few months. So if you have a few months of time, definitely apply for a spot. I would love to have you inside. And if you want this entire document, by the way, because you just want to reread it and you liked it, DM me Asset on my Instagram at Tolunai. I will include the link for applying for a spot at the top, and then below that the link for Asset, and below that the link for the 17 questions template. I hope I could help, and I thank you for your time. Bye bye.